Okay, guys, Micro Chassis Parts Online again. I want to make another video today talking about bushings, poly bushings, outer bushing sleeve, inner bushing sleeves, etc. What I wanted to say was, this is the size of a DOM tube that we use on the lower control arm for the main bushing, and that's because that main bushing is the only bushing on those arms. The one at the back, that's way over here at the very back, it doesn't hold any of the weight. All the weight's on that one. That's why the factory Crown Vic's got such a big bushing, rubber bushing in it. Anyways, that's bigger than even a 4-link bushing. A 4-link bushing would be like this 2-inch right here. This is 2-inch OD quarter wall. This is 2 1/4 quarter wall, and this is 2 1/2. See how much bigger that is? So that's typical 4-link right there. We stock these. We make them in a lot of different sizes, and basically they're based on what poly bushings we can get to put inside of them. That's a 1 3/8 inside. It's 1 3/4 outside. And I've got some inner sleeves here. And these go inside. That goes inside there in the deal. And then I've got some bushings here. Okay. That's the poly bushing that goes inside there, okay? Goes inside there like that, and then that goes inside of that. Now, I was getting, not this bushing, but one just like this from Energy Suspension, but it had a smaller hat. This is called the hat. Smaller hat and smaller diameter, and the back side of the hole had a big opening. It was tapered out right there. And it was shorter in this area, but it was the only bushing that I could get from Energy Suspension or anybody else that would fit into some bigger tube like this and be big enough for those Crown Vic lowers. So that's why I was getting it from them. The problem is, they used to have a deal to where if you buy 100 or more, the price drops, and you can get the price down to about $3.80 a piece. Right now they're almost $5 a piece, and their policy at Energy Suspension is 10 to 12 weeks if they don't have it in stock. That means it could be 10 to 12 weeks before they make any more of them again, and get them to you. So, I mean, they could have them in stock, or they could be building the one that you need next week or the week after, and you don't have to wait, but could be 10 to 12 weeks. And I've had to wait 8 weeks before for a poly bushing. So I decided to have my own made. I sent this drawing to a company that makes polyurethane bushings, polyurethane parts, and they made this one, and I'm happy with it. It's got a Shore A hardness of 85, which the hardness of a Energy Suspension bushing is about a Shore A hardness of 80. Okay, now this is a Energy Suspension, like a 4-link bushing, okay, but it's kind of wide. So if you want to put it in a 4-link and you're going to use a 2-inch wide deal like that, well, you can't use that because it's too wide. See, you have to cut it down, which I was having to do to use these on my LS Swap motor mounts. So I decided to get some of those made too. And that's the version for that. It's a little bit narrower here. Now, what I've found that I need is I need 3/4 right in here. I need 1 inch right in here, and then I need 1 1/4. Okay, which is what that is. So I'm getting all those different links made with the same hat, same OD, same ID, and then I'm also getting this same bushing made with a larger opening, 1 inch, 7/8 and 3/4. These here the same way. Eventually I'll have these are 1 inch, but I'll eventually have 7/8 and 3/4 in that size, each one of these bushings. And that's just simply so you could have different inner sleeves to go in it to use different bolt sizes. And I've got pretty much every size DOM that we need, because making control arms, you're using anything from say 1/2 inch up to 3/4 bolts. A lot of times you're substituting for a metric bolt, so you never know what size bolt's going to go through a bushing, and you never know what size bushing is going to go inside of a tube. But there's only so many sizes of DOM that you can get that are available. I mean, that are common sizes basically. And basically the sizes that we use are based on what bushings are available. But if you're getting your own bushings made, you can get whatever you want. So I made that. That's on the way. This next size down, this is for the A-shaped arms. When we make, instead of having that weird stud sticking out the back of the arm, we make an arm, a Crown Vic arm that has another bushing here instead of that crazy stud sticking out the back. And this is 2 1/4, and it uses a bushing like this. It's the Energy Suspension 2134. Now this has got a very small inside piece there and a pretty good size hat on it. But I want one like this, but I also want one 1 inch and 1 1/4 in that size. So I'm ordering those too, okay? But I've got those in stock. Those coming. I've got the Energy Suspension version in stock. Got a whole box of them at the moment, probably 100 of them. I got some more coming that I'm having made. So we'll stock those, and those have a 7/8 ID, which we can make a sleeve, because we have 7/8 DOM in with a hole for a 5/8 bolt, a 9/16 bolt, or a 1/2 inch bolt. We got all three. Okay, so we can do that. We can make any of these if you want. If you want to buy any of these outer sleeves like this, any of these, the poly bushings and the inner sleeves, we're going to stock all this eventually. Okay, if you have some old control arms that have bad bushings and you don't know what bushings fit them or what numbers they are, message me, because I probably either got them in stock or I can get them. So we're going to replace those with that. We're going to replace the other one with that. This is a version of this, same thing, except it's got a 1 inch hole. And the good thing about that is, with that, you look at that and you say, well, it's got less poly, but it's got, if you put a 1 inch sleeve inside of here, what you got really is more surface area for that to ride on. That'll actually hold more weight than this one will, okay? Because you got more surface area there. Okay, this is the type that we use for an engine mount, for a LS swap mount. It's got it doesn't have the grooves. We use this one and cut them down. But the new ones we will use will be like this, but they'll be a little bit taller than that, and they'll have the 1 inch hole basically just like that, except it won't have the grooves. These are some I got from Speedway. These are probably a Daystar bushing. I don't know what number they got on. They have a number at all. Yeah, I don't even see a number on them, so I don't know if they're a Daystar or not. Anyways, the other one is this bushing right here. This is a one-sided bushing. In other words, you can go into a sleeve like this for a control arm that's got a narrow metal part and be one-sided for like my upper control arms that are non-adjustable. Or let's say you got some control arms that have a cross shaft, those would also fit there. Like the 88 to 98 GM, they don't have a cross shaft, but they got a one-sided bushing from the factory, and they're replaced with a bushing like this. You can replace them with two small bushings like this, or you can replace them with a single one like that. Or let's say like a 73 to 87 that does have a cross shaft would use a bushing sort of like this. It may not be as long as this, but be a one-sided bushing. Okay, so that's the Energy Suspension version of that 3040 that I'm replacing is that one. So see, mine's not tapered, and instead of having a tapered hat like this, this is a you got a bigger hat and bigger diameter there. Anyways, and then the next step down from that was this. This is the Energy Suspension 3293. This is what Energy Suspension sells for a S10 and like geometric cars, metric chassis from the mid 80s, and the like Astro and basically any small GM car. The Energy Suspension makes a replacement bushing for it. And it's this. It's got a metal sleeve that goes over this that presses into the side of the control arm, and then this fits into there, and it's got a metal sleeve inside it. This is 7/8 in ID. Well, I've got a version of this coming because I use these on all import control arms. Because imports, the factory cross shafts are such an odd size that it's always hard to find a bushing for them. You can either get some made, or you have to adapt your cross shafts to what you can get. So basically, I make my own cross shafts, and I use a bushing like this. But these are hard to get too, because if I run out and they don't have any in stock, I'm stuck waiting until they get some more. So about tired of dealing with them, and just decided to get me a company that makes poly bushings to make them for me. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch over to mine, but I'm going to have the different lengths and the different hole sizes of each one. So we're going to end up with about 15 different sizes of bushings with different size inner sleeves, outer sleeves, and different lengths. So basically, we can do pretty much anything you need. If you need outer sleeves, inner sleeves, the poly bushings themselves for 4 links or Watts links, whatever you're going to make, you can get with us on that. Here's another small bushing. This is Energy Suspension 9002. This is good for, like, say, shock mounts, Watts link, end links, small things like that. It's got 3/4 ID. And this part right here is 1.25 inches. So I've got some DOM that'll fit over this. This 3293 fits into that right there like that. This is what I'll use, like, say, I said on import arms, I use this bushing, this metal, and that, and goes right over the inner sleeve, the cross shaft. Anyway, so basically, that's what we got. And I got a bunch. Basically what I do is I'll order one size from my supplier. As soon as I know that is good, I send them another drawing. I can't send them a whole bunch of drawings all at once, because I can't afford to do that. Got to order a minimum of 100 at a time, at least for the first order anyway. So that's how it's going to work. Eventually, we'll have 15 different styles, and we're going to keep a bunch of these in stock. So if you need any of this stuff, just hit me up. If you got some control arms and you don't know what size bushings that were in them, hit me up, because I've probably got some for them, or I know where to get what you need. Okay, peace.